WCC. I go by the name of Hurt, and I don't want to wake my son Beastmode. He's sleeping right now. Shh, 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 shh. Let me put him to bed real quick. There you go. And when you wake up, I got a story for you. Now, normally at this time, I would tell you all the things you did wrong in your promo. But today, I'm going to tell you all the things you said right. Because you said a lot of things that were correct. But you don't understand the gravity of how correct you were about some of them. I'm here to help you through that. Let's talk about it.
The state of this locker room at that time, this was the weakest locker room I had ever seen in this place. With you leading the charge, not saying that's the reason, but you know.
I started with this clip. Specifically because that little thing you did at the end where you're like, it was like you being like, oh, I fucked up. You like, look at his face. Look at his face. He knows he fucked up. And he doesn't know how I'm going to get at him. But the truth of the matter is, what you're saying is correct. The locker room was horrible, and it was because of me. I killed locker room morale. Let me be clear. I was not the leader of this locker room. I wasn't. When a guy like me, with the star power, the charisma, the power, just the whole everything that I come into a place with, everybody who thinks they're about to be the top guy, everybody who's in the locker room going, it should be my turn to be champion next. It's going to be me. When they see me, they immediately know, oh, fuck. We got to wait. Or we can go somewhere else. Because when I come in, I weed out the weak. I did it in LUW. Ask Chaos about that. He'll tell you. The owner of that place still won't step foot back in there. I'm just telling you what it is. I just did it in PWR. I did it in the DMVF a decade ago. And I did it in WCC. It's no different. It's no different. But let's see what you go on to say.
You're right. The Bully Club, when you were here the first time, was over there. But let's talk about what we were doing while we were over there, Hurt. When we were over there, we were the top 1% of the place because we had 1,100 people talking about 11. And when we left, they crumbled. After we raped, pillaged, and got everything we wanted from them, and we dipped, they crumbled.
You guys, all of you together collectively, because you can't stand on your own. You're a groupie, let's be clear. You guys together were the top 1% of that group. You went over to that group and everyone was talking about you. You got what you wanted from that group. And then when you left, that group couldn't stand on its own. Eventually, they got it together, but at that point in time, they couldn't. Now, where have I heard that before? Where has a guy gone into a company, immediately become the most powerful man in the company, and then got the top title? Were you world champion? No, you weren't the top guy. You were just a guy with the guy. Got the world title, became the most powerful man in the company, and then when that belt came off of him, the company damn near folded. I'm going to keep thinking about that. But while I'm thinking about that, let's see what else you had to say. Going this way. Fake out.
You see, Hurt, once you left, I came to the realization I didn't need you to validate me for anything. What I needed was for you to get the fuck out of my way so that I could validate my damn self.
Yeah. Alphas eat first. Whatever I want, I get. If I decide tomorrow that I want to be the Intercontinental Champion, whoever the Intercontinental Champion is here, because I haven't looked, he needs to watch out. If I decide I want to be the Extreme Champion, be careful. If I decide that I want to be the leader of the Bully Club, remember when I decided that I wanted to take down the Deadlock Rebels? You remember that, right? Because you were in that group. See, you've always been a part of these big things, but you've never been the big thing. Like you said, like I said before, you went to that other place, but you weren't the champion over there. You were with the group that was doing the stuff, but you weren't the guy. The reason you had to wait, for me to be done with WCC was because you cannot be the top guy while I'm the top guy, and I aspire to be the top guy. What else we got?
I became so consumed with trying to beat you that I lost sight of a lot of the bigger picture.
That happens all the time. You're not the first, so you won't be the last to be fixated on beating me. We remember this guy, you know what I'm saying, who we're going to talk about this whole thing later, okay? But you remember, he spent 3 years stewing over the ass whooping I gave him back in 2017. He came in here looking for me. You saw what that got him. You can't focus on beating me. That's not what you should do. What you have to focus on and what you will be remembered for in history will be hanging with me, all right? It won't be you defeated me, because anybody can win a match. You've seen people get lucky against me. You've seen people who were afraid to engage me get lucky against me. That happens. Hanging with me is the important part. There was no dishonor in the fact that you lost to me in Legacy. There was dishonor that you didn't give your best effort. And I know you're capable of better. We're already seeing it. I'm already satisfied. You were on a roll, but then you said one thing that I gotta spank you for a little bit.
But during that time, we were all still here too. We were just watching you do your thing, that other one, Mega, do his thing, and yeah, it was rudimentary. It was boring, you know. It was just the thought of that time. Ugh.
I am going to allow you to take that back. I'm going to allow you to correct yourself. In your next appearance, I want you to say, you know what, that's not what I meant. That's not what I said. Or you can man up and say I was wrong. I allow people to call me a lot of names, but boring is not one of them. I consider myself highly entertaining. And a lot of people do. A lot of people think I'm highly entertaining. When I cut this promo on Chris Dillsworth, one of the times I aired him out, that I had him responding 4 or 5 times. A lot of people thought it was funny. Who's that? Oh. Well, I talked about Corey Tombstone earlier. When I buried him, when I ended his career, when I destroyed his Fed without stepping foot into it. When I destroyed his Fed with one promo, who thought that was hilarious? That's you. Laughing at the guy that you said was rudimentary. This promo went longer than I would like to. I had a really good joke about fucking the belt that you have on your shoulder, but I'll save that for next time. I had sex with it. But this one's way longer than I like them to be. But I had a lot to say. I'll see you soon. I'm having fun. Are you having fun?